Good day, everyone. Here's our AVP in Philippine traditional games. Let's meet our team. We have Abigail Grace DARADAR, Jane PAULYN Guillermo, and yours truly, Krisselle Nilay. What is Philippine traditional games? So these are games that are commonly played by children, usually using native materials or instruments. In the Philippines, due to limited resources of toys of Filipino children, they usually come up with inventing games without the need of anything but the players themselves.
Individual Philippine traditional games. It can be played individually or one player each side or one versus the others. First, we have Pico, a Tagalog of hopscotch, which is one of the famous Philippine traditional games. It can be played by two groups or even an individual. All we just need is a marker, chalk, stick, or charcoal to draw lines in the ground and a penny or a flat stone. It can play anywhere as long as there's much space for the line. Next, we have Kadang-Kadang. This indigenous Filipino outdoor game is also known as tiakad, played by children and adults alike using coconut husks. The term kadang-kadang translates to simple game, and the game goes by its name as a basic racing recreational activity. The coconut husk is used by the player to carry himself and outrun the other players. The first to finish the game will be the winner. Luksong Baka originated from the province of Bulacan in the central Luzon region of the Philippines. Its objective is for players to successfully jump over the baka or the cow, also called the taya or it, without hitting any part of the latter's body or falling over him. Luksong Tinik. This is a game that uses no toys. Instead, children used only arms and legs to execute this activity. According to old folks, this activity originated from Cabanatuan City in the province of Nueva Ecija, Philippines. Tumbang Preso is also known as Tumbalata or otherwise Bato Lata, and it has maintained its popularity over the years. The game is played in backyards, streets, and open areas. It borrows elements from tag and dodgeball to inculcate in those who play in strategic thinking and agility.
Dual Philippine traditional games. The first one is sipa. It is a game of kick. The object being used to play the game is also called sipa. It is made of a washer with colorful threads, usually plastic straw, attached to it. The sipa is then thrown upwards for the player to toss using his or her foot. The player must not allow the sipa to touch the ground by hitting it several times with his or her foot, and sometimes the part just above the knee. The player must count the number of times he or she was able to kick the sipa. The one with the most number of kicks wins the game. The second one is sungka. Sungka is a game that hails from the Philippines. The aim of the game is to capture as many shells as you can and to place them into your ulo or head. So the third one is the Chinese garter. Two people hold both ends of a stretched garter horizontally while the others attempt to cross over it. The goal is to cross without having tripped on the garter. The higher runs demand dexterity, and the players generally leap with their feet first in the air, so their feet cross over the garter and they end up landing on the other side. Also, with the higher levels, doing cartwheels to cross the garter is allowed. The fourth one is the 10-20, a game involving two pairs, with one utilizing a stretched length of garter. One pair faces each other from a distance and has the garter stretch around them in such a way that a pair of parallel lengths of garter is between them. The members of the other pair then begin doing a jumping routine over the garters while singing a song 10, 20, 30, and so on until 100. Each level begins with the garters at ankle height and progresses to higher positions, with the player jumping nimbly on the garters while doing their routines. The last one is the Shato. Shato is a traditional Filipino game that makes use of two sticks, one longer than the other. The longer stick will serve as the bat and the shorter stick serves like the hit. It can be played by two players.
So let's proceed to the team games of Philippine traditional games. First, we have agawan based. Agawan based literally means capturing based. It is played by two teams with a minimum of 3 players for each team. The more players, the merrier. This game is usually played on the beach since this game involves running, chasing, or tagging, and accidental falling is inevitable. The second one is patintero. This game must be two teams, the passers and the guards. The passers team aims to cross from the starting line through to the end of the rectangle and back, and it's important that they avoid getting tagged by the guards team. Third is tago-taguan. Tago-taguan is a children's game in which a number of players conceal themselves in the environment to be found by one or more seekers. The game is played by one player chosen at random counting to a predetermined number while the other players tied. After reaching the number, the player who is it attempts to locate all concealed players. Fourth is Langit Lupa. It can be played both indoors and outdoors. Langit means heaven while Lupa means earth. This is a game in which it runs after the other players who are running on the ground or Lupa. Those who remain on the ground can be tagged by the it and becomes the new it. Players who are standing on higher grounds are safe. Lastly, we have Hilahang Lubid or Tug of War. The objective of the game is for each team to pull the rope along with the members of the opposition's team to their side. As soon as the second mark on the rope from the center red mark crosses over to the center line, the team that pulls the rope to their area wins the game. The tug of war competition requires a judge. Here's the references of our content. We will end with the quote, lahat ng papel nagiging bato kapag nasasaktan. Bato ba topic? See you on next presentation. Thank you.